Hello, welcome to this tutorial. I'm Morris Dimba, and today I'm going to show you how to create or apply and support a wooden formwork on concrete beams for a very simple concrete structure of a simple building like this one you're seeing on the screen right here. And we'll get started. And prior to that, let me just rotate this and you can see how it looks. Let me just turn round like that. And remember to rotate, to just pick on navigate and pick on the first option, rotate with mouse, or you can press Ctrl R on your keyboard like that and pick your rotation point like that, and press your left button on the mouse and hold, and you can turn that round like that. Perfect. Now we want to start placing our formwork on our beams. Now I'll come to applications and component here, and I'll just type formwork, and I'll pick on the formwork right here, the beam formwork, and this is only accessible if you have the macros with you. Now I'll click on the beam, on a particular beam I want to place my formwork on. And prior to that, the moment you invoke the command, first of all, you check on the bottom end here, you'll be able to see the program is asking you or requesting you to pick on the main part you intend to place the formwork on. So I picked the where the beam will be casted, and the formwork will take exactly that profile of that particular beam. Now I'll close this. I'll go to the next beam and pick on that. Remember, Tekla structure will retain my previous settings that I used in customizing the properties of my formwork. Let me just terminate it here and explain this further by going back to the properties of this particular formwork. Now let me just turn this around. This is how it looks, and we have a rod here that's cutting across the concrete. This helps a lot in tightening our formwork to the measured profile of our concrete beam, to maintain our formwork in that position all the way to the far end here. We have the clamps here, and we have the timber at the bottom here, where we'll be placing another timber here to provide supporting points for our formwork. Now I'll go back again and invoke this command and continue placing my formwork. I'll place another one there, and give it some time to load, and I'll place another one here and give it some time to load it. That's it. Now I'll right click and terminate that command and close this now, and let me just turn this round. I have already placed my formwork in place. There it is in place. And what next? We want to now support this. First of all, let me take you to the properties of this. If you double click here, you'll be prompted with this dialog box here for this particular macro that has made our work easier in showing how the formwork will look on site, or if you are particular on the type of formwork you want to be made on site, you can do it in Tekla structures by this particular tool. Now this is how you set it. We have the bottom end here, we have a plywood here, and we can adjust the size of this plywood by coming to the bottom profile here and give it a different dimension, and you'll be able to see that that dimension or the size of this plywood adjusting itself automatically. When I click modify, you'll be able to see that extending. And also, if I adjust the length of our timber, you can give it 2 meters here, and you can see that also adjusting itself to that particular dimension. Now we'll take it back to our previous dimensions. That was how I customized it, and that is the size I intended to use on this particular beam. Now I'll take it back to 1 meter, and this one I'll take it back to 30 inches and apply that. apply and accept that. Now the next move or the next step you're going to do is how we want to support this formwork. You have to support your formworks prior to casting, because it will be very fun enough once you pour in your concrete and you find the whole thing that you made is crumbling down to the bottom end of your structure, which will be very funny enough. You cannot share this with anyone. Whatever happens on site, that will show how unprofessional you are in your work, and particularly when you must take into this into account that supporting your formworks is critical. Now I'll use a particular tool in supporting this that will help us give direction how to support our formwork. Particularly in this case is concrete beam. Now I'll come to applications and component button here and click on that, and this will prompt us with this dialog box of applications and components, and from here we'll be able to search for that particular tool that will help us place the reinforcement for our formwork. Now I'll just type scaffold frame right there, SF right there, and we'll use this scaffold tower. You just double click on that, and in this case I made a particular size that I intend to use here. Now I just click scaffold here and click load, and it will load my settings here. I'll click modify, apply and accept to activate my settings or to prioritize my settings, and click on that position to place my scaffold. So I'll click on everything here, and I want to rotate it so that it appears convenient to my formwork. I mean convenient, I mean it will accept the position that I intend it to sit on in supporting my formwork. Now first of all, prior to placing the supporting frame, I want to place a timber running all the way from this end to this end, and I'll come to applicants, I'll come to beam and pick on the beam right here, and pick on the beam, and I'll snap right here and stretch all the way to this spot here. I wanted that timber, just double click on it, and we'll close this timber, 4x4 timber, and the moment you click on that radio button, you'll be able to see we are under finish 4x4 sides under timber profiles. Just click on that plus sign and you'll be taken to a variety of timber sizes here. So we are working with 4x4 timber size. Just double click on it, and you'll be able to see the 4x4 here, 4x4, and this is where it is. Apply and accept that, and we need a similar one the other end. How do you do that? Instead of taking time to copy that on the other side, just change your XYZ axis and mirror this to the other end accurately. Now I'll come to view and pick workplane tool, and I'll place my workplane tool right there, and right click and come to special copy and click mirror, and I'll use this midpoint of this column as my mirror line. I'll click that and click copy. I'll end that and click copy. I'll right click and end that command and turn around and check whether that has copied this end. Actually, it is in that position that we intended it to be on. There we are. Now if you take a look on this member, it is not in the best position to support our formwork. Now I'll click on it, and prior to clicking on it, I want it to be rotated in another position that it will make it easier for us to place it and our formwork, as indication that it is supported properly. Now I'll come to view and pick on work plane tool, and I place my work plane tool right somewhere here. Let me rotate this. First of all, end that command and that rotation command, and come here and pick on the work plane tool, and I want to place it somewhere here. Just mouse over this point and I'll place it right here. Now I'll right click and come to special move and click rotate, and I want to rotate this and the axis by 90. Now it is okay. We can pull it and take it to that end. Now I'll come to view and I want to rotate this. There it is. Let's first of all check the center distance of this timber, and then I'll come to edit here to check that, confirm that. I'll come to measure and pick that, check the centers there. We have 911, and we'll double click here and check that we have a meter. So what do? We have to change this to 911 to match that distance. Apply that and accept that, and it has the rotation is not perfect, and we'll undo that. Right click and click move and pick it from that position and take it all the way to that end. Now here we are with our there it is, and it's not really touching properly on our supporting members that will be holding our formwork in position. Now what we'll do, we will adjust this. We'll double click on this and change this to 911 and click that, apply and accept that. So we'll come back here and click on that, click move. This will move this, shift this center to that center, and that is the position we want it to be on. Now what we are going to do, we'll now adjust this to a position that will look okay for us. Does it look okay? But we'll craft a way to make it look better, and that is the key point here. What do we do in this particular case? Well, we'll just deselect everything and disable the assembly and get rid of this. Get rid of that, and we'll delete that. We'll come here and select on this and pick it from that position here and take it right here, and that's it. Now we can enable the assembly here, so that these become part of our support. So you realize the moment I mouse over this, you'll realize everything gets selected and these two are not selected. What do? Just select these two, but press Control, pick on that, and add to this assembly. So if you mouse over once again or press Alt, you can see that already selected. Though is not okay as it is, but it will still work for us. Now I want to go ahead and change this I want to place my bracings here. So what I'll do, I'll just disable this assembly and pick on these individually, pick on that, pick on this, and double click on that. Then I'll change this circular hollow section. I'll pick on that and I'll change this to 1 inch, an inch right there, and I'll click apply and accept that and place that one right there. Now if you take a look here, you'll be able to see we have our scaffold here in place, stretching all the way to the bottom end of this. Now we want to continue doing this. I'll pick on that and pick on this, then select pick on that, and that. Then I'll come here and pick on that. I'll pick it from that position and stretch all the way to this end and place another one right there. So if I turn round, you'll be able to see that. Or we can undo that and move it somewhere here. Do that, pick on that, press Ctrl and select this, right click, and I will pick on copy, and I want to copy it from that position, and I'll move all the way to this position to provide support from that part to that part. So if you rotate like that, you'll be able to see our support is actually in the right positions. Now I'll do a similar thing by pressing Ctrl and make sure I select this and click move, and I want to move it from this position right here, and I'll take it to this end here, taking into account these are the same. What I've left these ones with this timber 4x4. I've left them, so I need to include them at the end. I'll right click, select on it and pick copy, and I want to copy it from that spot and take it here, so you can see the support is in place. I'll click navigate, and you can see that there's something you can see which is very wrong, slightly wrong, not that wrong, but we can shift this member so that it does not clash with this column. I don't think whether you noticed that. Let me press Ctrl, let me click that and select that and that, and I'll come to move, and I want to move this to this position. That will be okay. Now if I turn that round, you'll be able to see that we've given support to this particular position of our, you can see that. So the two beams are ready for casting. You can come with your concrete and place it there, noting down that it is well supported. Nothing will come down crumbling and destroy your work, and you'll cry all the way to the bank because you've wasted your money and you have some work to redo. Now let's place another formwork here. Let me just click and just come here and press formwork here and come right here and play and click that spot, and that's it. We have placed it right there. Now supporting it, it's this how it looks. This is how it looks. I'll close this. I'll come to navigate, and I'll turn this down so that you can have a look at this. Thanks a lot for watching this video, and if you're new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe, and let's meet then. I'm always Dimba. Bye bye.